It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 18th day of June, 2021. I'm the old fat guy, Chillie Falls, coming to you from Forest and Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Got a busy day ahead, guys. So let's get right at it. Starting off, we got to talk a little bit about weather. That's the system that is currently called Tropical Cyclone 3. It has not quite gotten to the point of getting a name yet. Has maximum sustained winds of 35 miles an hour, 1,007 millibars of pressure. It's moving north at 14 miles an hour. It's expected to keep intensifying. That's the earlier cone of uncertainty. And that's the later cone as she's moved up in the Gulf. The system's expected to produce heavy rain, considerable flash flooding, urban and small stream flooding beginning today, continuing through the weekend along central Gulf Coast. It can come all the way up into the southern Appalachians, which that means, Tom, Henry, you and I could get some rain this weekend, from tropical rain for a change. So it's aimed right at us at least, so we'll see what happens. Sometimes it dies before it gets here, but we'll have to wait and see. So the main story today, or the lead story, I guess, because I'm going back to the old style show with multiple stories, but passengers are going to face more restrictions if they're unvaccinated. We've talked about this several times, but yesterday afternoon it became clearer what they mean by it. Royal Caribbean passengers from Florida who don't show proof of COVID-19 vaccines will face more restrictions than passengers who do. In a statement released yesterday afternoon, the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines said passengers who are unvaccinated on Freedom of the Seas from Miami in July will not have access to all the ship's activities. They'll also face extra requirements when it comes to COVID testing and mask wearing. Freedom of the Seas is scheduled to begin sailing July the 2nd, becoming the first Royal Caribbean ship to resume voyages out of the U.S. port. Among the restrictions that unvaccinated passengers will face, they will not be able to sign up for My Time dining in the ship's main dining room. They'll be given a specific time. They'll be assigned a specific area for unvaccinated sailors. They will not be able to participate in some of the ship's activities. They will not be able to access all venues. They will not be able to attend certain performances of theater shows, and that will be restricted solely to vaccinated passengers. Unvaccinated passengers also will have to wear masks at all times when in interior areas of the ships. Vaccinated passengers will have to wear masks at some times in interior areas, but will be able to take them off when in venues, bars, lounges, restaurants, and entertainment area, or at events designated for vaccinated guests only. One exception to the above, masks will not be required of any passengers who are actively eating or drinking. Vaccinated passengers on Freedom of the Seas will be issued wristbands that show they're vaccinated and allow them access to vaccinated-only venues and events. Passengers who are unvaccinated will have a big hole punched in their key cards, known as the CPAS cards. All passengers will have to show their CPAS cards to access lounges, shows, and dining venues on the ship. Royal Caribbean also said yesterday unvaccinated passengers will have to undergo additional COVID-19 testing at their own expense to sail on Freedom of the Seas. The additional testing, and here's an important fact, folks. The additional testing will include a test at the cruise terminal in Miami prior to boarding, another test on board prior disembarkation, and the cost of the two tests will be $136 per passenger. So those of you that want to sail without being vaccinated, not only is it going to be a pain in the butt on the ship, it's going to cost you $136. Now, of course, all of this is in response to Governor DeSantis and then their law saying that cruise lines cannot sail and cannot ask if someone is unvaccinated. So they're getting around it with this. Now, who knows what the state of Florida is going to say in response to this, but that's what it is. And I'm sorry, but kudos to Royal Caribbean. I completely agree with what they're doing. Of course, I feel that all passengers should be vaccinated, and I don't care if you ask or don't ask. All right, Princess has released its restart plans beyond Alaska. You know, we talked about their Alaska plans starting in July. The cruise line will resume sailings out of Florida and California starting in September. Majestic Princess and Grand Princess will be on the California coast and Mexico with 7-day cruises from Los Angeles and Hawaii on 15-day cruises. There'll also be some 3- and 5-day getaway cruises to the California coast and Mexico. Ruby Princess will be sailing out of San Francisco, 7-day California coast cruises, 15-day Hawaii cruises, 10-day Mexico cruises. Enchanted Princess begins with 2 brand new cruises from Fort Lauderdale to the Southern and Eastern Caribbean. Sky Princess, Regal Princess, and Caribbean Princess sail from Fort Lauderdale. Guests can island hop through the Caribbean with 3, 5, 7, and 14-day cruises available in the Eastern Caribbean. And finally, the Crown Princess will do a series of 10-day Panama Canal cruises from Fort Lauderdale. MSC has announced that it has chartered the industry's largest air charter program for the summer of 2021 to make more ports of embarkation easily and safely accessible from a range of European countries. And this, folks, if you're in Europe, you could probably get in on this, but it's primarily for our friends on the other side of the pond. Guests will have access to seamless journey from their homes to the ship for holidays at sea, all under the protection of the company's industry-leading health and safety program, now extended to cover air travel. This opens up a wide choice of ports, ships, itineraries this summer for MSC guests from Italy, France, Germany, Spain, and Switzerland for sailings in the Western, Eastern, and Northern Mediterranean, at least, and Northern Europe. MSC's industry-leading health and safety protocol will extend to apply to the chartered flights, which will be operated together with some of Europe's leading airlines. MSC is committed to more than 26,000 seats with a whole bunch of airlines. They're basically having 8 ships will be sailing in Europe this summer, 6 of which benefit from the full and rich fly and cruise program. And those are the Grandiosa and the Seaside, which will be covering the Western Mediterranean, Splendida, Orchestra, and Magnifica, the Eastern Mediterranean, and Seaview in Northern Europe. So they got a nice fly and sail program. Don't run away from that thought, because we're going to talk about that again a little later. AIDA Cruises, that's owned by Carnival, of course, under the Carnival Corporation umbrella. They've released details on a 2022-2023 World Cruise. The AIDASol will sail on a 117-day voyage that will see the vessel sail to 20 different countries, 43 different ports of call. The World Cruise will set sail October 26, 2022 from over in Germany, Hamburg, as a matter of fact. It'll sail easterly course from Hamburg towards South America across the equator for the first time. Ports of call in South America include Brazil and Argentina stops. Once the vessel has rounded the treacherous waters around Cape Horn, the South American route will conclude in Chile before sailing across the Pacific. Pacific stops include Fiji, Tonga, Mystery Island in Vanuatu, New Caledonia, Tahiti, Bora Bora, and Australia. From there through the Indian Ocean, Africa, around Africa with stops in South Africa, Namibia, and then back to Europe. And folks, if you got to ask how much it is, probably can't afford it. Actually, they're not even saying how much this sucker cost. It's not on their website anywhere, but you can bet it's pretty expensive. But it's 117 days, and it goes around the world. All right, Viking Cruises opens up Malta cruises for U.S. guests. Viking Cruises set up a new partnership with Lufthansa to enable U.S. guests to travel to Europe with ease. See, I said we're going to be talking about some airplanes again. Startups in Iceland, the UK, and the Mediterranean are ahead. However, it is cruises in the Mediterranean that Viking intends to make available for its loyal U.S.-based guests. During the summer and early fall of 21, Viking will home port 3 vessels in the Mediterranean for 11-day voyages from Valletta, Malta. Viking Star, Viking Sea, and the company's newest vessel, Viking Venus, will sail from one of Europe's most beautiful ports. As an added bonus, the Maltese government eased restrictions for the arrival of international travel, including guests from the U.S. To that effect, the cruise line announced an exclusive partnership with Lufthansa, which will exclusively fly Viking guests nonstop from Newark Liberty International Airport to Malta. That's awesome. Starting June 17th, Malta has placed most of the states and territories of the United States on its amber list. This means tourists can travel to the country as long as they can show a negative PCR test conducted 72 hours before travel. Viking Cruises has been hard at work to make the resumptions of cruises a success. Cruise line has installed complete laboratories on board of its ship capable of testing crew and guests multiple times per voyage. And the cruise line has shown cruising to be safe since it started in May. And, we talked to Wes Morrison yesterday from the Orion, which sailed out of Bermuda. And we've got next week, we will have Janine Williamson will be on board the Venus. And we will have a interview with her from on board the Venus at some point in time next week. We're not going to know until she's actually there, and we can, in fact, find out what kind of signal she's got and when we can set it up. So, for our UK friends, P&O, Fred Olson, Morella confirmed that they have asked, those are different cruise lines for you guys here in the States that don't know, that they've all confirmed that they have a number of guest sailings to change their holiday dates because the government extended the 1,000 passenger or 50% capacity, whichever is lower, limit on cruises until July the 19th. And yeah, that sucks, but they've extended it till then. And that was confirmed by both the British government and the cruise lines. And the other final story this morning, the first AIDASol cruise of 2021 set off from Porto this morning. Guests on AIDASol Alba will spend 7 days sailing along the Douro Valley to the Spanish border and back Cruises on the Danube will resume on Saturday, followed by the Rhine by the end of the month. So, goodness, we were at a bunch of stories today. Yeah, and I know, folks, I've been trying to keep this to one to save my voice. The voice so far is doing okay. I made it through that without coughing a single time. Goodness gracious, we got all kinds of comments over here. I know Jason was with us. I chatted with him a little bit myself. Tom Henry's here. Tom, sorry you missed yesterday. He had some technical problems at work. Programming gate and electronic doors took a while to get things working. And of course, Tom was the help in getting West from to chat him. And he talked to West and told him, probably erroneously, that I'm a nice guy. So we did a little interview with West yesterday. And Tom says West is from New Braunfels, Texas. Okay. Jason says, good morning to the gang. What was that girl's name from New York? That's Emily. You looking for a second wife? Yeah, no. And Tom Henry says it's Pride Month. And Jason says maybe Gretchen. Cindy watches Sister Wives. And Gretchen's with us. Good morning, Gretchen. They were just talking about you. Chili's Cruise is no sound. What? Okay. That was Tom. Whew. Goodness. I about had a heart attack. Jason says, talk about a dust storm. Remember the cone of silence? Yep. Love my. Did you get the donation? Let's see. Did I? I don't know. I'll find out. Let's see. And yes, I did. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate the donations. It did come in safe and sound. I always appreciate that when you do that, guys. That's helpful a bunch. I do appreciate it. Helps keep me going. How will Florida react to all this? Need to know. I'm interested to know how Florida reacts to it too, Tom. Technically, it's Royal Caribbean's way of getting by, but still, they're asking people if they're vaccinated or not. They've got to prove it. Jason heard that Trump's going to be DeSantis vice president. Not surprised at that. Gretchen says, hey, Tom and Jason going to Florida soon, like July 3rd or 4th. Anybody fly with a dog before in the cabin? He's a Frenchie, and I have tranquilizers from his vet. Trazodone? Are you kidding me? I take Trazodone. That's how I go to sleep at night. Goodness, that'd knock a crap out of a dog. Wow, I'm surprised at that. And no, I've never traveled with a dog, Gretchen. I know a bunch of our friends have, and it was, it was no problem with it that I know of. I know several of them, their dogs are there for health reasons. Jason says he had a cat behind him once. It wasn't happy. Tom can't help with that. Give the dog 2 Benadryl. Tom says we fly to Chicago next Saturday, spending a week in Wisconsin. Gretchen said I had a cat in front of me. He was fine until they caged him. Tom Henry's going to Lake Geneva for 5 days, then to Beloit to visit Cindy's family. That's nice, Tom. Go see the in-laws. one way to beat the heat? I don't know. It's been as hot up there as it's anywhere, for it seems at least. Tom Henry's a vacation machine. Tom is going to be working. He takes his mobile office with him everywhere. He does have a hot air balloon ride booked. Uh-oh. Boy, we need to do that one on the live stream. Of course, you can't live stream up in the balloon probably, but you're going to have to prove that one to us. We definitely need some pictures on that one. Tom Henry. Live stream balloon from Wisconsin. That'll be week after next. That's good. We got Janine next week from on board her ship, and then we're going to get Tom Henry from a balloon. That's awesome. I get chilly on that balloon. See, Jason, they won't let me on balloon. There's weight limits, and I'm way too fat to get on a balloon. Gretchen wants to know if he's powering it. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. With all of his hot air, that's what he says, too. Hey, Cindy's here. A little bit late, but she's here. Hey, Cindy, good to see you again. Has anyone done Celebrity? I was thinking about booking them. Everything I've heard about Celebrity is good, Jason. And no, I have not. But it's, seems like it's probably a step and a half above what we're used to with Carnival. You and I, because we've done Carnival more than anybody else in this family. So I would put it as a step and a half above Carnival. Not quite to some of the high-end type cruises, but getting there. A step above Norwegian and Royal Caribbean and Carnival. So Tom says, Chili's Cruises, keep your eye out for Hawaii news. Hoping our November 27th goes as planned. Hawaii needs 70% vaccinated to open up. They're at 55% now. They are to allow U.S. to do it, to allow U.S. mainlanders. I'll start watching that, Tom. Quite frankly, I have not seen or heard anything about Hawaii, but I'll put that on my list. Jason says, Cindy, he joined the Facebook ground for the Horizon. That's the Facebook group, I imagine that's supposed to say, for the Horizon. I like the look of Ada's ships. Yeah, I think they're pretty cool looking too. Now, I've never been on one, but it looked like it. Cindy says, can't wait for the Horizon sailing. Was New Caledonia where Mikhail went for relaxation? I think it was. I'm not even sure. Jason's excited for a Halloween cruise. Be interesting to see if everybody goes in costume on that. That would also be a good night for a live stream, Jason. Hint, hint, hint. Goodness, the comments just keep going on. Well, of course, I've talked a lot longer today than normal. Tom Henry, I just added 2 days air deviation from my Prima cruise, September 23rd, 2022. Wondering what my best option to get from Heathrow to Southampton. Cindy doesn't like the underground trains. Okay, but none from the airport. Yeah, you might have trouble with that one. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure. I tell you what, Tom, we need to ask probably Sue from the cruise editor for the London Times. I bet she would have an answer to that. I will be glad to ask her and see what we can find out. So anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today. I am starting to get a little scratchy, but we've clearly gone a lot more than we have for some time now. So that's going to wrap me up. I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. And if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. As you can tell, we keep a lively chat area going while I'm running my mouth, saying as little as possible at all times. That's it for today, guys. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. This is the Old Fat Travel Guide. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chili's Cruises.